But we're going to start with England. And despite Thomas Tuchel's side facing two crucial World Cup qualifiers between now and Tuesday, the transfer saga of the summer was a hot topic of conversation at St George's Park today. That's because Newcastle's Dan Burn was the man to speak to the media as well as Tuchel. And the defender insists he bears no ill will. Alexander Isak, who left St James's Park on Monday to join Liverpool. Let's go live to Rob Dorset, who's still at St George's Park for us. And Rob, Burn was the first Newcastle player to speak publicly about the Isak situation. So I guess it was no surprise when he was put up by England that he was going to get asked a few questions about Isak.
Yeah, and it's not normal protocol, to be honest. The FA and the players and the clubs don't like us talking to the players about very much club issues when they're away on international duty. It's not the done thing, but it was such a huge elephant in the room that we were talking to Dan Burn, and I felt we couldn't really not ask him about it, of course, because as you said in your introduction, we haven't heard from any Newcastle players yet since Alexander Isak moved to Liverpool on transfer deadline day, and about the entire saga which had carried on for a couple of months building up to that. Dan Burn, I think you have to give him huge credit. He's becoming a real leader in this England dressing room as much as he is a leader in the St James's Park dressing room right now. He's a safe pair of hands, but he's very eloquent in the way that he deals with some difficult issues, and he did exactly the same thing again today. And we've often wondered, haven't we, how players feel about the transfer business and how some of their teammates react when it becomes a bit acrimonious. Do they just chalk it up as, oh, look, it's football, everybody's got to make a living, they're trying to do the best for themselves, totally understand? Or do they feel much more like the Newcastle United supporters do, largely betrayed by Alexander Isak? They feel that he's blotted his legacy, despite winning Newcastle's first major trophy in several decades. Well, have a listen to what Dan Burn said, because I think he makes it pretty clear that Alexander Isak is still a friend of his, and he doesn't hold any grudges, doesn't hold any animosity towards the way he behaved.
I'm glad it's done. I think we wanted the transfer window to close just to have a bit of clarity on it. But listen, I've been in football long enough to understand that for a player, the careers are short and they've got things that they want to achieve. So for me, I'm happy that it's over. Alex is a mate, so it was a tough situation because you want him to be around and helping the team, but also understand for him what he needs to do personally. So listen, I've got nothing but sort of good wishes for Alex.
So yeah. No animosity towards him?
No animosity. I think, listen, obviously as a Newcastle fan, and you know what Newcastle fans are like, we're very protective of our club and we're City, and you want players to be there who want to play for Newcastle, and you don't want them to sort of naively think that there's anywhere else to go apart from playing at Newcastle. So I understand why our fans are frustrated. But as I said, I think I've been in the game long enough now to understand what goes on, and as I said, I wish Alex all the best apart from when we play Liverpool, obviously.